friends, we're starting a new series today called How to Friend. And I think you're probably smart enough to know what the series is probably about. But these days, we can Google how to do just about anything. In fact, I Googled how to just to see what it would just like autofill for me. And here are some of the automatic responses that I got. How to take a screenshot, how to delete an Instagram account, how to tie a tie. Like, I know how to do that, but it took me a while to actually learn how to tie a tie correctly. How to make French toast, that took me forever to learn. Or how to play Wordle. And these are all great autofills, by the way. Like how to screenshot is probably for your mom or your grandma, or the delete Instagram is for someone who's like just completely going through a breakup and they don't want to see their ex anymore. And the how to tie a tie, like good luck. It took me a while. Even if you watch a step-by-step YouTube video on how to tie a tie, it's not easy. French toast, that's delicious. I encourage you, if you don't know how to make French toast, Google it, figure it out. And if you've never played Wordle, Wordle is awesome. One of the things that it doesn't autofill is how to friend, which basically is how to be a good friend, how to make friends, how to keep friends, how to change friend groups, how to lose a friend. And so growing up, I would have loved to Google to help me with all of these things because friendships are awesome. Who wouldn't want someone who just gets your sense of humor or shares your love for Taco Bell? Who wouldn't want that friend who is there for you no matter what, or who you can vent to about that teacher that you're just feeling judged by? Friendships are good, but friendships can be difficult because friendships are always changing. My friends in middle school were different than my friends in elementary school. And in my first few years of high school, they were different from my friends that were in middle school. And my friends in my second half of high school were different from my friends in the first half of high school. There were so many different dynamics into so many different friendships. I even had seasons where I had 0 friendships at my school, and that wasn't an easy situation. At the same time, friendships were so important to me still. I cared about them a lot. And if I had my choice as to who I'd like to spend my time with between friends, family, I would have always chosen friends. Like I would choose friends every single time. I wanted to hang out with them. Still, it was a whole world that was never explained to me. I wish someone would have said, okay, this is how you can friend. Knowing how to friend is difficult. Anytime you mix two very complex human beings in a close relationship, it isn't always easy to understand and also maintain the peace. Friendships take a lot of work. Plus, there are a few other things to make it tough as well. Like growing up, you weren't taught how to be friends. Our parents and teachers taught us to behave, to be polite, to be kind, to say thank you, to work hard and mind our manners. Those are all good things, but they didn't explain to us what it meant to be a good friend. And maybe that's because adults struggle with it just as much as teenagers do. We were taught to play basketball, to spell, and do multiplication problems, but we weren't taught how to navigate friendships. So with that being said, our friendships are usually formed just by default. Like I already mentioned, our friendships just happen. If someone is in our class or on our team or in our neighborhood and we get along with them, we become friends. We don't put any more thought into it than that. And this is totally normal and natural, but it certainly doesn't mean that we'll have just great friendships naturally. Why? Because friendships are hard. So think about it. When it comes to friendship, things are always changing. You move to a new school, switch classes, or take up a new hobby, and the people in your life change. You're making new friends, which is cool, but it's tough to build and maintain close friendships with constant change. And also, you're not always sure where you stand with your friends. Sometimes it seems like you're left out of the text threads, or you don't get a voice in making plans, or nobody's inviting you to anything. And if you were being honest, you're not even sure if you're actually in with your friends or not. Or maybe this is you too. Expectations aren't always met in your friendships. Like your friends don't do the things that you want them to do, and they don't connect with you enough during the week, or they don't hang out on the weekends with you, or remember the important details of your life. And you feel like those are the kinds of things real friends do, but you don't have any friends around you who are doing those things. So when it comes to friendships, we all tend to focus on what we're not getting from the people in our lives. But I don't think it always has to be that way when it comes to friendships. As old as the Bible is, it still has something to say about our friendships with other people. And the first 4 books of the New Testament are called the Gospels, and they are the accounts of Jesus' life when he lived among us. And one of those Gospels is the book of John, and it was written by the disciple John, who was a very close friend to Jesus, and who a lot of people think was just a teenager when he was actually following Jesus. And at one point, John writes about a very serious moment in Jesus' life. And it took place right before Jesus would be arrested and sentenced to die on the cross. And while his disciples had no idea what was about to happen, Jesus knew what was approaching. And with that in mind, Jesus gathered his friends together for one last meal. Considering what was ahead for him, Jesus could have been looking around at the table and at his friends and thinking, okay, what are these guys going to do for me when this all happens? Are they going to prove that they're my real friends? But that's not what Jesus did. Instead of waiting to see how his friends would respond to him, Jesus decided to take the first step. And instead of being reactive, Jesus was proactive with his friends. And in John 13, 3-5, it says, "So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that he had around him." So this may seem totally random, but back in the day, people walked. They walked a lot. And sometimes they even walked on their bare feet. And there weren't sidewalks or paved roads at the time. There was dust, there was sand, there was dirt, there was sweat, and who knows what else everywhere there was. And feet weren't clean, not even a little bit. So back then, washing someone's feet was a job typically done by a servant for a house guest, or someone in a lower position would wash the feet of someone in a higher position. And in this situation, it would have made sense for the disciples to wash Jesus' feet because he was their leader, he was their master. But Jesus was the master of flipping people's expectations. And he often did things that were countercultural or counterintuitive. And this was no different. Jesus demonstrated to his disciples what true friendship looks like. And he took the first step. He didn't wait on someone else to do what he wanted them to do. He served them. He did it for them to model the kind of friend that he wanted them to be to other people. In fact, in a different gospel written by Luke, who was a doctor, he records Jesus as saying something that's some pretty good advice when it comes to friendship. In Luke 6:31, it says, "Do to others as you would like them to do to you." In other words, Jesus is saying that when it comes to relationships, we need to be proactive. We need to treat our friendships the way that we wish they'd treat us. But let's be honest, this is so difficult to do, right? Usually we take the opposite approach. We react. We treat people the way that they treat us. We respond to how they make us feel. If someone makes us feel angry because they aren't meeting our standard of friendship, we treat them with anger. If someone leaves us out of the group text, you better believe that we'll leave them out of our next group text. But if we really think about it, we can agree that that's not the way that we want our friendships to work. We want our friendships to value us, to include us, to notice us, and be kind to us. And we want to feel important to our real friends. And we don't want them to pay us back evenly for every mistake that we make. We want them to be patient with us and to show us grace and forgiveness. So think about what Jesus said in today's terms. What if I message others as I would like to be messaged? What if I invite others as I would like to be invited? What if I talk to others as I would like to be talked to? What if I forgive others like I would like to be forgiven? What if I listen to others as I would like to be listened to? What if I post about others on social media as I would like to be posted about? So think about this. Jesus could have made all of his friendships about him. He was the ringleader. He had the highest status and position. He could have used his power to leverage the relationships for himself, but instead he served. He put his friends first. He was humble, supportive, encouraging, and forgiving. And that's what we can do for our friends. So think of it this way. Being a friend means serving your friends. So we want our friends to make the first move, to treat us well, and put our needs first. But we can be the kind of friend that we want to have without waiting on anyone else to make the first move. We can follow Jesus' example in our friendships and serve others right now. And there are a million ways that you and I can serve our friends and put them first without waiting for them to do it. But for the sake of today, let's talk about 3 simple ideas. So number 1, think about your friends. Don't just think about their needs and what they're doing or not doing for you. Think about their situation, their feelings, their worries or insecurities. Try to be gracious and empathetic with them. They have moments of anxiety and fear just like you do. They get down just like you do. They get sad just like you do. They have highs and lows just like you do. In fact, let's just practice this really quick. I'm going to put some stuff on the screen, and this is an oh so simple exercise on thinking about your friends. All you have to do is fill in the blanks with a friend's name and something that's going on in their life. And if you can't think of friends or things that are going on with them, fill it in with people that you just that you know or that you're acquainted with. So here it is right here. Now, number 2, listen to your friends. Ask questions about things that are important to them. Try to actually listen to the answers. Try to keep up with important things that are happening in their lives. And if you have a terrible memory, maybe use the Notes app on your phone and write down some important things, good or bad, that are happening in the lives of your friends. And then follow up with them. Take an interest in the things that interest them. And number 3, pray for your friends. If your friend is going through something difficult, pray for them. If things are falling apart in their family, pray for them. If they have important things coming up, pray for them. Even short, quick, simple prayers are a big deal. Then tell them you are praying for them if you want. And if you do these things, it doesn't mean everything is going to work out perfectly in your friendships all of the time. This won't magically fix all of your friendships. At the end of the day, a friendship is about 2 imperfect people existing in the same place. And anytime imperfect people are around each other, stuff can go wrong. But this will be so powerful for you moving forward. This is a great place to start when it comes to how to friend. For the rest of your life, you're going to be in friendships and relationships. Learning how to serve, make the first move, and putting others first will create an incredible foundation for you to be an incredible friend from now and into the future. And at the end of the day, the only friend that you can control is you. So being a friend means serving your friends, and it means taking the lead to look out for them and their interests without waiting for someone to do something for you. Imagine if you became comfortable making the first move. Imagine if you started the group text instead of waiting for someone else to start it. Imagine if you didn't retaliate, but instead you forgave and you showed grace. Imagine if you were the kind of friend that you wanted to have. Being this kind of friend will take work, but the work is worth it. And it all starts by you doing to others the way that you want them to do to you. So let me pray for you. Father, I just pray for our friendships, and I pray that when we're learning how to friend and be a good friend, I pray that we can take initiative, that we can be proactive, and we can reach out and we can text our friends first, that we can initiate conversations first, and that we can not be afraid to just and wait to react, but we can be proactive and really create a service attitude towards our friendships. We love you, Jesus, and we pray this in your name. Amen. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Next week, you will have Keziah with you, and she's got a great message for you about who you put close in your relationships, in your friendships. We'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.